The Simpsons have done it again. For years, people have been drawing similarities between gags in the episodes and things that actually end up happening in real life.
In tonight's Fact or Fiction, we are looking into yet another claim about The Simpsons predicting a big news event.
For decades, The Simpsons has left people stunned with predictions that seem too accurate to ignore. From groundbreaking inventions to shocking world events, this animated series has somehow managed to foresee it all.
The Simpsons have made spot-on predictions.
But their predictions for 2025 are on another level entirely. Could this beloved show truly hold clues to what's coming next? Join us as we dive into The Simpsons' most insane predictions for 2025 and uncover the stories that might leave you questioning everything. Eerie predictions unveiled. The Simpsons. Just hearing the name makes you think of hilarious episodes, quirky characters, and sharp satire. But over the years, this animated sitcom has become more than just entertainment. Somehow, it seems to have predicted real-life events long before they happened. From jaw-dropping technological breakthroughs to major political shocks, the show has left fans wondering, coincidence? Or something deeper? One of their most chilling predictions is about Donald Trump. Today, he's serving his second term as President of the United States. But The Simpsons saw it coming long before anyone else. Back in 2000, in the episode Bart to the Future, they casually threw in a joke about Trump becoming president.
16 years ago, The Simpsons eerily predicted Donald Trump would be president.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
The episode, which aired in 2000,
It sounded ridiculous back then. Yet, in 2016, the world watched as Donald Trump was elected for his first term.
A historic moment. We can now project the winner of the presidential race. CNN projects Donald Trump wins the presidency.
You'll want to watch this video to the very end, because what The Simpsons seem to know about our future will leave you shocked, and maybe even a little uneasy. Did you know that The Simpsons also hinted at a potential Trump 2024 campaign? And while the writers might have meant it as a joke, it's eerily accurate today. So as we kick off 2025, we cannot but wonder what predictions The Simpsons have for us. Going down memory lane, fans of the show would recall that in 2002, The Simpsons aired an episode that featured Trump in a truly bizarre scene. It showed him touching a glowing orb while surrounded by two men who appeared to be from the Middle East. Fast forward to 2017, and this image came to life during Trump's visit to Saudi Arabia. In a moment that seemed straight out of the cartoon, Trump, the King of Saudi Arabia, and Egypt's president placed their hands on a glowing orb at the inauguration of a global center.
2002 episode of The Simpsons that eerily mirrors real-life events. It shows Donald Trump touching a glowing orb with two Middle Eastern-looking men. Well, last month, President Trump did just that with the King of Saudi Arabia and the President of Egypt.
Seeing the cartoon side by side with the real-life image? It's almost unbelievable. Could this really be a coincidence? Or is something else at play? Moving on to predictions that hits closer to home. Artificial intelligence. Back in 2016, The Simpsons aired an episode where Springfield got an amusement park entirely run by robots. At first, it seemed like a dream come true. Ralph Wiggum even had one of his classic lines, "My cat's breath smells like cat food."
To form a description of that person. My cat's breath smells like cat food.
But things went downhill fast. The robots malfunctioned, sparking chaos. What seemed like harmless fun turned into a nightmare. Today, that doesn't feel so far-fetched. AI has become part of our daily lives. We've got self-driving cars, robot waiters in Japan, and even smart home devices that practically run our houses. But experts like Jürgen Schmidhuber have warned about the rapid growth of AI. Could The Simpsons have been hinting at a darker future where AI rebels against us? It's a chilling thought, but one we can't ignore. And speaking of technology, how about the idea of understanding what babies are saying? Sounds crazy, right? But The Simpsons thought of it first. In one episode, they introduced a baby translator, a gadget that could turn a baby's cries and giggles into words. At the time, it was pure comedy. But today, scientists are working on technology that might make this real. Imagine knowing exactly what your baby needs without guessing. Sleepless nights could become a thing of the past. What seemed like a funny gag on TV might soon be a game changer in parenting. As we unravel these predictions, it's hard not to ask, how does a cartoon get so many things right? Could it be that the writers have an uncanny sense of observation, or is it just pure luck? Whatever the case, The Simpsons continues to blur the line between fiction and reality, leaving us questioning what's next. But here's the thing. The predictions don't stop here. What comes next will leave you speechless. Keep watching. You'll be amazed by what they predicted next. Technology and the future predicted. We wouldn't bother ourselves so much about 2025 if The Simpsons had stopped at political predictions like Donald Trump's presidency. That alone would be impressive. But the show goes deeper, predicting advances in technology that, at the time, seemed like pure science fiction. From everyday gadgets to futuristic innovations, it's like The Simpsons writers had a crystal ball. You'd be shocked at some of their wildest, yet eerily accurate technological predictions. First up, virtual dining. In a Treehouse of Horror episode, Homer and Marge enjoy a meal without ever leaving their home. Instead, they wear virtual reality headsets and dine on virtual food. Back when this episode aired, it was meant to be absurd and hilarious. But today, not so much. Today, companies are actively working on immersive dining experiences using VR.
It was magical. It was just so extraordinary to lose oneself in something that is so familiar.
Some cruise ships and high-end restaurants are already experimenting with this idea. Imagine putting on a headset and suddenly being transported to a five-star restaurant in Paris, all while sitting in your living room. It's mind-blowing how what was once a cartoon joke is slowly becoming a reality. Speaking of futuristic gadgets, let's talk about holograms. The Simpsons showed us a world where holographic messages replaced traditional communication. In one episode, a character receives an invitation via hologram. At the time, it seemed far-fetched. But today, holograms are no longer just a sci-fi dream. High-definition holograms are being developed and used in real life. Devices like the Looking Glass can create 3D projections that feel almost magical. Imagine receiving a birthday message from a friend, not as a text or video, but as a full-on hologram. The technology is still developing, but it's clear that The Simpsons were onto something. Next is something that is a bit more chilling: subliminal messaging. In one unforgettable episode, The Simpsons introduced a boy band whose hit single contained hidden messages urging listeners to join the Navy. At first glance, it was just another funny moment. But when you think about it, music has often been used to influence people. From propaganda songs in wartime to catchy jingles that stick in your head, music has power. The idea of subliminal messaging in pop culture isn't as far-fetched as it seemed. The episode was a subtle reminder of how easily our minds can be influenced, sometimes without us even realizing it. But here's where things get even more surreal: flying cars. Back in a 2005 episode, Bart and Lisa got a glimpse of the future, where flying cars were as common as bicycles. At the time, it was pure fantasy, but today, companies like Samsung Sky are turning that fantasy into reality.
Car lovers are in for a treat after a Portland-based company claims they are weeks away from testing this, their model of a flying car.
their Switchblade flying car has already taken to the skies, flying 500 feet during a test. It's still in the early stages, and with a price tag of $170,000, it's out of reach for most people. But the idea of zipping through the sky instead of sitting in traffic doesn't seem so impossible anymore. The Simpsons also gave us a sneak peek into the potential dangers of advanced technology. In one episode, they showed a world where rogue AI turned against humanity. While it was played for laughs, it's a scenario that experts warn about today. As AI becomes more advanced, concerns about its ethical use and potential risks grow louder. Could The Simpsons be cautioning us about a future where our creations turn on us? And then there's the episode about a flu epidemic. In Marge and Chains, Springfield faces an outbreak of a mysterious virus. People get infected through ordinary objects, like a juicer. Sound familiar? The episode aired in 1993, long before the COVID-19 pandemic. But watching it now, the similarities are striking. A virus spreading through everyday interactions. It feels eerily close to what the world experienced in 2020. The Simpsons may not have predicted COVID-19 specifically, but the way the episode mirrors real life is hard to ignore. Even their take on environmental collapse feels like a warning. In one episode, Springfield descends into chaos as society crumbles under the weight of its own mistakes. Whether it's pollution, resource depletion, or unchecked greed, the message is clear. If we're not careful, we could face the same fate. The show's dark humor often balances these grim predictions, but it's hard not to feel a sense of urgency. What's truly fascinating about these predictions is how they make us reflect on the present. The Simpsons doesn't just point out what could happen, it challenges us to think about our role in shaping the future. Are we heading toward a world of flying cars and holograms, or one of chaos and collapse? The answer might depend on the choices we make today. But this is just the beginning. The Simpsons has so much more to reveal. What's next might shock you even more. Keep watching to uncover their most unbelievable predictions yet. You won't believe what they predicted next. World events and shocking global predictions. If you thought The Simpsons were done wowing us, think again. Beyond personal gadgets and futuristic tech, the show has made some jaw-dropping predictions about world events. Events so mind-boggling that it makes you wonder if they had insider knowledge. From politics to major global happenings, The Simpsons' foresight has left many speechless. For example, one of their most talked about is a 2008 episode where Homer tries to vote for Barack Obama in an electronic voting booth, only for the machine to glitch and cast the vote for his opponent. It was a humorous jab at outdated voting systems, but in 2012, reports emerged of voting machines malfunctioning in real life. In some cases, votes intended for one candidate were accidentally registered for another.
Watch as someone presses the button to vote for Obama-Biden repeatedly, but the machine keeps changing it to Romney-Ryan.
It's a striking example of how The Simpsons' sharp observations turned out to be startlingly accurate. There was also their shocking prediction about the European horsemeat scandal. In a 1994 episode, lunch at Springfield Elementary is served with a mysterious meat ingredient. A joke about horsemeat being in the cafeteria's meals was meant to be absurd. But in 2013, it was revealed that some European food products labeled as beef actually contained horse meat. The scandal rocked the food industry, and once again, The Simpsons had us questioning whether they were just really lucky guessers or if something more mysterious was at play. Speaking of global events, one of the most chilling predictions involves the September 11th attacks. In a 1997 episode, Lisa holds up a magazine with the number 9 next to an illustration of the Twin Towers, forming 9/11ths. To be clear, The episode did not predict the tragic events themselves, but the imagery is haunting. Critics have debated whether it's a coincidence or something deeper. Either way, it's a moment that adds to the show's reputation for being strangely prophetic. And then there's the FIFA corruption scandal. In a 2014 episode, Homer becomes a referee for the World Cup and uncovers widespread corruption within FIFA. Just a year later, in 2015, several top FIFA officials were arrested on charges of bribery and corruption.
The fastest-growing sport in America got a swift kick today. Several top officials of soccer's world governing body were arrested in a massive bribery scandal.
The timing couldn't have been more perfect, or unsettling. The episode highlighted not just the corruption itself, but also the global frustration with powerful organizations exploiting their influence. Turning to science, The Simpsons predicted something shocking in a 1998 episode: the discovery of the Higgs boson particle. In the episode, Homer becomes an inventor and is seen standing in front of a chalkboard with a complicated equation. Decades later, physicists confirmed the existence of the Higgs boson particle, which helps explain how matter gains mass. What's truly fascinating is that experts have analyzed Homer's equation and found it surprisingly close to the actual formula used in real-life experiments. How could a comedy show written for laughs predict such a groundbreaking scientific discovery? The show's attention to detail doesn't stop there. In one episode, they featured an invention similar to what we now know as FaceTime. Characters made video calls on handheld devices, a concept that seemed futuristic at the time. Today, video calls are a part of everyday life. It's one thing to predict trends, but to depict them so accurately before they happen? That's what sets The Simpsons apart. One of the most unexpected predictions yet might just be Disney's purchase of 20th Century Fox. In a 1998 episode, a scene shows the 20th Century Fox logo with a sign underneath that reads, "A division of Walt Disney Company." At the time, it was just a joke. But in 2017, Disney officially acquired 20th Century Fox in a $71 billion deal. Once again, The Simpsons writers seem to know something we didn't. But the show doesn't just predict big events. It also taps into smaller, yet equally strange happenings. For example, in one episode, The Simpsons joked about faulty autocorrect. A group of bullies uses a handheld device to plan their mischief, only for autocorrect to change the word beat up to eat up. It's a funny moment. But today, autocorrect fails are a daily frustration for many of us. It's another reminder that even The Simpsons' smallest predictions can hit surprisingly close to home. Now, to address one of their more recent predictions: space tourism. In a 1994 episode, Homer travels to space as part of a NASA PR stunt. While this was purely for laughs, it mirrors today's booming space tourism industry. Companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin are making commercial space travel a reality. Civilians, not just trained astronauts, are now venturing into space. The Simpsons once again captured the spirit of innovation long before it became a reality. Here's another jaw-dropping example: the three-eyed fish. In a 1990 episode, Bart catches a three-eyed fish named Blinky near a nuclear power plant. It was a commentary on the potential dangers of nuclear waste. Decades later, in Argentina, a fisherman actually caught a three-eyed fish near a nuclear facility. It was a bizarre and unsettling coincidence.
Yesterday, with that three-eyed fish you saw, of course, when Dutton first said that he was going to bring nuclear energy.
That brought the episode to life in a way no one could have anticipated. Then, revisiting The Simpsons' prediction about artificial intelligence, in multiple episodes, The Simpsons explore the idea of machines outsmarting humans. One memorable storyline involves smart appliances taking over the Simpson household and wreaking havoc. It's a funny exaggeration, but today, the rise of AI raises real concerns about automation and its impact on society. Will machines someday outthink us? The Simpsons might have been joking, but the question feels more relevant than ever. What makes The Simpsons' predictions so powerful is how they combine humor with insight. They don't just throw out wild ideas, they anchor them in the reality of their time, making them feel surprisingly believable. Whether it's technology, politics, or world events, the show continues to amaze us with its uncanny ability to see the future. And here's the kicker. There are still more predictions to uncover. Some of the most shocking and unbelievable insights are yet to come. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss what's next. The wildest predictions yet. What the future holds. One of their boldest predictions revolves around the colonization of Mars. In a 2016 episode titled The Margian Chronicles, Lisa signs up for a mission to colonize the Red Planet, leaving her family behind. It seemed far-fetched back then, but today, organizations like SpaceX are working tirelessly to make Mars colonization a reality. Elon Musk has even hinted at sending humans to Mars within the next decade.
SpaceX founder and CEO Elon Musk unveiled plans to transport humans and thankfully cargo to Mars. He hopes to get it done in the next decade. His ultimate goal, to colonize said red planet.
The idea of leaving Earth to build a new life on another planet no longer feels like science fiction. Could The Simpsons have foreseen humanity's next great leap? Another incredible prediction is the concept of digital currencies. In a 1997 episode, The Simpsons subtly hinted at the rise of cashless transactions and digital money. The idea of cryptocurrency wasn't mainstream at the time, but today, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other digital currencies are revolutionizing finance. What's even more fascinating is how the show portrayed society's shift toward a fully digital economy, something we're inching closer to every day. Speaking of pressing issues, climate change has been another recurring theme in the show. In several episodes, they've depicted catastrophic weather events and environmental crises, often caused by human negligence. One memorable storyline shows Springfield's residents dealing with extreme weather patterns, from scorching heat waves to devastating floods. These scenes resonate deeply today as the world grapples with the effects of global warming. The show's ability to address such serious topics while keeping its humor intact is truly remarkable. But then, even more bizarre is the rise of humanoid robots. In one episode, The Simpsons introduced a robotic maid named Iron Lung, a clunky but charming invention meant to help around the house. While it was played for laughs, today we're seeing real-life humanoid robots that can cook, clean, and even hold conversations. Companies like Boston Dynamics and Tesla are leading the charge in robotics, blurring the lines between humans and machines. It's yet another example of how The Simpsons tapped into future trends long before they became a reality. Another standout prediction involves the rise of smart homes. In a 2001 episode, The Simpsons showcased a fully automated house with voice-activated controls and self-operating appliances. While the episode ended with the house turning against its owners, it's a striking commentary on today's smart home technology. Devices like Alexa, Google Home, and smart thermostats are now commonplace, making our lives more convenient, but also raising concerns about privacy and over-reliance on technology. Here's another prediction that might hit closer to home: wearable technology. In a 1995 episode, characters are seen using wristwatches to make phone calls and access information. This was years before the first smartwatches were introduced. Today, devices like the Apple Watch and Fitbit are essential tools for tracking fitness, staying connected, and even monitoring health. The Simpsons weren't just predicting the technology itself, they captured its integration into everyday life. Even on global politics. In one episode, The Simpsons predicted a major diplomatic incident involving the United States and Russia. A scene shows the U.S. Embassy in Russia switching back to its Soviet-era sign, hinting at rising tensions between the two nations. While this was meant as a joke, today's geopolitical climate between the U.S. and Russia feels similar.
U.S. President Donald Trump has been outlining more of his second-term policies during his first full day in office. That's including his plans to address the war in Ukraine, which he's pledged to end.
The show's ability to weave humor into such serious topics is what makes these predictions so memorable. One of their wildest predictions involves advances in medicine. In an episode that aired in 2012, The Simpsons introduced a concept where people could transfer their personalities and memories into robots, achieving a form of immortality. While this idea still seems far-fetched, scientists are making progress in areas like brain mapping and consciousness studies. Could we someday upload our minds into machines? The Simpsons might have been joking, but the concept is no longer confined to the realm of fantasy. And then their predictions on Super Bowl outcomes may be the most shocking of all. Over the years, The Simpsons have correctly predicted several Super Bowl winners, including the Washington Redskins. In several episodes, the show joked about the big game, hinting at future winners in a playful way. One standout episode from 1992 featured Homer betting on the Washington team to win the Super Bowl. And decades later, their rebranding as the Washington Commanders gave fans a reason to revisit the joke. While they didn't predict exact scores, these playful nods to the Super Bowl still have fans wondering if The Simpsons knew more than they let on. While some argue it's just luck, others believe the show has an uncanny knack for tapping into cultural trends and probabilities. What makes The Simpsons so special isn't just their ability to predict the future. It's how they package these ideas in a way that feels both entertaining and thought-provoking. They tackle big issues with humor, making us laugh while also challenging us to think about the world around us. But the real question is, what's next? The Simpsons continue to air new episodes, and their predictions show no signs of slowing down. Will they foresee the next big technological breakthrough? Another political shakeup? Or perhaps a global event that changes the course of history? Only time will tell. For now, we see that the impact of The Simpsons' predictions goes far beyond comedy. They've shaped how we view the world, inspired countless debates, and left us questioning whether their writers have a time machine hidden somewhere in the Springfield basement. Which of these predictions surprised you the most? Do you think they'll ever stop being so eerily accurate? Let us know in the comments below. And remember to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories like this. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You're going to love it.